So this is why I do what I do. I left the corporate world. I thought about continuing, and I decided, no, I'm going to be crazy and courageous and start my own business because I want to work with people that I respect, people that I trust, and people who are trying to change the world. And the fact that I get to do that every day just makes me so happy and feel so grateful. So Storyforge clients, you'll see them here on the screen. They come from a wide range of businesses and a wide range of industries. We work with small startups. We work with ambitious founders. They've got a crazy idea that they want to launch. And we work with multi-million-dollar international companies. The one thing all of our clients have in common is a belief that through business, they can change the world or their little corner of it. And sometimes we have to help them get out of their humility and realize just how powerful they are. And that's part of the work we do. So that's one of the reasons we were excited to work with NAWBO. We don't often work with nonprofit organizations, but everyone that we work with is a purpose-driven organization. And they realize that to be able to achieve their vision, to fulfill that purpose, and to change the world, they need to get everybody on the same page. They need everyone in their business, outside of their business, all their stakeholders to be on the same page. And on the same page about a couple of very important, essential truths about the business, the DNA of the business. They need to be on the same page about what their vision is for the world. What's this world that doesn't exist today that we want to create through our business? So they need to know that. They need to understand it. Everyone needs to be aligned about what that is. And this is going to sound super fundamental and very, very simple, but it's also very hard. They need to understand who they serve. Who is it uniquely that they serve? And what do those people really mean? What do they want? What do they believe? They have to get everyone on the same page about what they stand for and stand against. What are those beliefs and principles that you as women business owners bring to your business every day? Things that you stand for, that the business stands for. Also, all of those things can help you have an insight about why you exist. Because you don't just exist to make money. Anybody in here just exists to make money? No, right? It's like living. I have to make red blood cells to stay alive. But I don't wake up every day and think, another day when I can make red blood cells, right? There's got to be some purpose that's higher than profitability. Profitability is necessary to make it happen. There's got to be something more for us. And we need to define what that is uniquely for us and for our businesses. We also need to be really clear about how exactly we're going to fulfill that purpose, how we're going to realize that vision. Be clear about those core strategies that are going to get us there. And strategies might change. Your purpose, your vision, your beliefs, what you stand for, they don't. So it's these things that we work with our clients to discover, to have insights about the real human truths of your business. And once we have those insights, we work to codify them into a framework for thinking, a framework that NAWBO has that they're now using as a filter for every decision that they make, as a tool for aligning their teams, for inspiring people, for keeping everyone moving fast in the same direction. Speeds innovation, it creates curiosity, and curiosity in turn creates innovation and disruption. Our theme of today. See how I did that there? Okay. I was told I needed to stick that in there, so I did that right there. So this is what we were doing for NAWBO, and why? Why am I up here? Why did we donate a significant portion of our services? It's because we believe in what NAWBO believes in, and we have seen the effects. When I was born, so those of you who are NAWBO members already know this, but for the new folks in the room, when I was born, if my mother wanted to start a business, she would have had to have a male family member co-sign her loan. Isn't that bananas? Right? We think that's crazy today. And the reason we think it's crazy today is because a couple of passionate women like you worked their tails off to get laws passed that support women business owners and take us from that draconian past into the future. So we know at Storyforge that NAWBO is doing really important work. They're doing work at the national level that's important, and they're doing work at the state level, and they're doing work at the local level on the ground to make change happen. So there are some bits of good news, and I don't want to make it sound all doom and gloom because that's bad for digestion. So the good news is that more and more women are starting businesses now than ever before. We are starting businesses actually at 5 times the rate of men. Isn't that remarkable? 5 times more female entrepreneurs than men these days starting their businesses. We're increasing market share in almost every industry, and we're doing it in urban and rural places alike. And that's fantastic. In fact, if all of the female entrepreneurs were to band together and to become a country, we would have the 10th largest GDP in the world. Yes, larger than Canada, larger than Mexico, and larger than Russia. That's amazing. That's a lot of power. So first, give yourself a round of applause for that kind of power. And that's what gives me hope. And yet, we got some problems. We have some real problems that we need to overcome. We are lagging behind our male counterparts in business success, and we face significant disadvantages and barriers that they don't face. And for women of color, I don't think I need to remind anyone, these disadvantages are far greater, far greater. There are a few disadvantages I wanted to highlight, some of which Michaela mentioned, and Chris mentioned, and Christy mentioned earlier. But we've got a wage and wealth gap problem in this country, and it's big. And this wage and wealth gap means that self-investment and external borrowing is just harder for women in business because this exists. We also have a lack of access to capital. And that lack of access to capital makes it difficult for women to launch businesses. It makes it difficult for women to invest in those businesses once they've launched them. And it makes it difficult for women to grow their businesses. We also have a representation gap. And that gap makes it harder for society to recognize women business owners. And it gives those of us and the folks who are younger than anybody in this room a lack of role models to look up to. I don't know if I was a young woman, I would have ever thought I could have been a business owner. I didn't have those role models. I wasn't a dude. Dudes were business owners, right? I thought I could be lots of things, like a ballerina and an astronaut, but business owner did not come up. So that representation gap is important. And all of these disadvantages are combined with something we see every day in our lives, whether it's in business or not, which is persistent biases. Biases that exist, that are deep-seated, stereotypes that exist, that have been around for a really long time about what women's interests are, what their abilities are, and what their competencies are, what we're capable of, including, I might add, our own limiting beliefs. Sometimes we are our worst enemies. So all of these things, this data shows that we've got problems. Women business owners, we employ far fewer people in far less profitable industries and markets than our male counterparts. Here in Ohio, not to depress you again, our state is ranked as one of 5 states in our nation where women have the lowest economic clout. So we've got work to do, ladies. The good news is, we have NAWBO. And NAWBO is an organization that rests on beliefs. So the work that we did with NAWBO was to unearth those beliefs, those things that we thought were unspoken, that probably were driving the thinking of the founders of NAWBO and of the organization from the beginning, but we needed to be clear about it, we needed to codify them. The first one was that we believe at NAWBO that owning a business is one of the most effective ways for women to secure an independent financial future. And that's an independent financial future for themselves and for their families. We also think it's one of the most effective ways for women to create opportunity in their communities, and one of the most effective ways that we can contribute to our company's economic growth. We also know and believe that when women are freed from these social, institutional, and cultural inequities, these inequities that are preventing us from reaching our full potential, we know that women business owners realize equal outcomes and have a disproportionately positive impact on their communities. We also know that to succeed as women business owners, to succeed as business owners, we need 3 things. We need a seat at the table. We need a level playing field. That's all we're asking for. Just give us a seat at the table, give us a level playing field, and then we can give each other the knowledge and the support and the courage that is necessary to move forward. And when we do, we know that equality and equity will be proven to be good business. They're good business, and these are nonpartisan issues that we can rally everybody around. So with these beliefs, NAWBO and the NAWBO board and your stakeholders, that is where we discovered who we serve. We serve all women business owners here, and we need to make sure and be clear about what that means, all women business owners. It means women business owners of every race, of every ethnicity, of every age, in all the beautiful diversity that I see in this room today. It means women business owners who are ambitious entrepreneurs with a crazy idea, and women who are running large, multi-million-dollar companies. We want to be there for all of them, and we want all of them to grow their businesses so that they can make a mark on the world. So that's who we serve. And that takes us to our purpose, which you've seen sliding past you hopefully all day and repeated often by everyone who's been on this stage, but really to empower those women business owners, to overcome those challenges and those barriers that we see every day, and really fully realize their true potential, not just partially. So the missions you've heard of advocacy, of community, of helping people transform, this is how we're doing it. But all of the committees here at NAWBO, 5 committee members, raise your hands. Anyone who's working on a committee, serving on the board, all of the women you see around you are now taking this framework, this strategic framework, and applying it to absolutely everything the organization does, and questioning, does it help us fulfill this purpose? Does it help us achieve these missions? Is this getting closer to our vision? And if it's not, they're considering stopping doing that so that we can send our energy and send our resources into things that do. And when we do, the vision that NAWBO, that all of us in this room are going to be able to realize, is to put simply a more inclusive economy. That's what we want. We want a more inclusive economy where gender does not determine success, gender does not determine opportunities, and it doesn't determine outcome. Where being a woman is not a barrier to business opportunity, nor an obstacle to be overcome. Where the successful female business owner is celebrated as the norm, not the exception. Where all women are empowered to enjoy the same social, political, and economic power as men. And where we use that power as a force for good in our communities. Where the next generation will not just dream of, but be empowered to fully realize their full potential and experience the kind of independence, freedom, and positive impact that we know can occur as a women business owner. So NAWBO is doing all of these things. This is the vision that we're working toward. And they're in the long fight, right? We have to be in this for the long haul. We need to do the advocacy. We need to tirelessly advocate for women business owners and influence our opinion makers and transform public policy and all of those things that Michaela talked about before. But until that happens, we're going to be here in rooms like this, at roundtable meetings and at luncheons and at trainings and at Good to Great. We're going to be here doing what needs to be done in the today to help the women business owners of now become the women business owners of tomorrow. So I know that when we do that, when all women are free to enjoy the same social, political, and economic power as men, then our work will be done. We might not need NAWBO anymore. And won't that be great? Okay, well, we'll probably still get together for lunch. But if you remember one thing today, it's something that Betty Collins says all the time, which is, NAWBO's not just lunch. Right? Lunch is maybe how we get together sometimes, but it's something far, far greater.